Hello, beautiful ladies. This is Oh wait, hello, fellow humans. Chris here again. Today I wanted to finally do a bit of a reaction video to somebody that kind of fell into my radar about a year ago. I started seeing these paid advertisements in my recommended channel for Classically Abby. And I'm sure that some of you watching this have also seen her ads. They drew me in just with kind of the clickbaity titles about kind of controversial topics, and she is incredibly conservative, self-proclaimed, traditional, very much like Mrs. Cleaver type, gender roles, like very strict gender roles, and men belong at work, women belong at home. So I noticed that a lot of these paid sponsored videos were heavily weighted to thumbs downs over thumbs ups. So clearly the targeting of the videos was not maybe the best. However, she has almost 100,000 subscribers, and if you look at her lesser advertised or sponsored videos, it's a much more like normal response of positive comments and thumbs up. So she obviously has like a good solid following, but I just I didn't know what to make of this person. For the longest time, and I still not 100%, but I think that she's basically just kind of playing a character, and she's kind of just milking this certain subset of the population of white women who love Trump and love conservatism, Karens, basically. And I think that she's just kind of tapping into that, of what demographic that there still is of that to market. I did find out she's also actually the younger sister of Ben Shapiro, which was interesting. But I've just decided finally, after all this time, to do a little bit of a reaction vid. I am not going to, like what I did with Contrarian Dude. I'm not gonna go through an entire video piece by piece. I really can't. I can't sit through too much of her at one time. Um, in general, her channel consists of videos with lots of little things like this.
Last couple of videos, you'll have seen that I have come out as a conservative influencer. And I thought I would talk to you guys a little bit about why I decided to do that.
And this.
In today's day and age, when you use the term self-care, it evokes an image of a woman who is kind of neglecting any of the other things that need to happen. She says, everyone needs to be put on hold. I need to deal with myself right now. I'm going to have my glass of wine and watch my TV show and take a bath and take care of myself.
And this. And just generally kind of silly things like that. Things that she's hurt and offended by, and judgments on pretty much anybody that's not like white conservative, 1950s Leave It to Beaver type stuff. But then she also has really, I feel, just hateful and destructive videos on topics, heavy topics like abortion, and just other very polarizing issues. And I feel that she just really milks that sort of white conservative, suburbanite woman, I think that it's destructive in a lot of ways. She's very anti-feminist. Actually, she would call herself otherwise, but going after women who've accused men of sexual assault. So I do feel like that there's some merit to kind of calling out some of that stuff, because she is obviously putting out a lot of money to get her message out there. So I just wanted to touch on two brief clips really quick. This was a video where she was responding to comments in to another video where she had explained why she's pro-life. And I could go on like I did with Contrarian. I could do hours really nitpicking at little things that she said, and maybe that'll be something for future videos. But I did just want to focus on these two particular clips. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll the first one.
But, like, what if a woman gets raped and gets pregnant? She shouldn't have to put herself through that. It's the woman's choice. Get off my recommended. First and foremost, I'm in your recommended because you clicked on my videos. So there's that. Of course, with a woman who does get raped and gets pregnant, this is a hard topic and a hard part of the debate. But I do want to address it. So, a couple of things. One, the percentage of women who get abortions because they were raped is 0.5%. It's 0.5%. So it does not make up anywhere near the majority of abortions that women get.
And yet, you still don't want to allow women who have been the victim of rape to have an abortion, even though it constitutes a 0.5% of abortions. Still got to make sure they're included in this complete criminalization of abortion 100% across the board. Okay, got that.
Number two is that if a woman does get raped, it's a horrible thing that happened. The man should get the worst possible punishment. And women who get raped it's a horrible thing that's happened to them. The fact is that it's not the baby's fault. And we cannot blame the child for how it was brought into this world. The wages of sin of the baby's father are not paid out by the baby's life. Yes, this is a really hard situation, and mothers who go through this, it's not something I could ever imagine. But it is something that we do need to talk about and to address.
There's no but after that statement. Just there's no but. If there was a moment there where you actually saw her face acknowledging the severity of rape. Like she showed it in her face. There's no but after that. There's just not. That's it. Obviously, this gets to that part of the discussion on abortion, about what constitutes human life, sentient being, and it there's really there's no discussion that can be had here, because we obviously have a difference of opinion on what constitutes an independent human life. And the fact of the matter is, for all intents and purposes, a fetus is a parasite on a woman. That's actually medically and scientifically correct. That might make you feel a certain way to think that, but as her big brother always says, facts don't care about your feelings. To put the most horrible thing imaginable for me that a woman could experience, and then to force her to relive the trauma, the pain, against her will, against her own bodily autonomy, and to justify that with the literal creation, the literal result of that horrible, horrible thing. It's unforgivable in terms of its insensitivity. And the fact that she acknowledges that less than half of a percent of abortions, which I don't actually know if that's correct, I'm just assuming it is, right? If less than half the percent of abortions are by women who were raped, then why are they still specifically targeted in this way? By her, by Governor Abbott in Texas, there's no exception for rape.
Stop telling others what to do with their bodies. So for this style of argument, the argument of don't tell others what to do with their bodies, we do that already, all the time, in the sense of we tell people not to steal, we tell people not to commit murders, we tell people not to do things that affect other people. And so when you are pregnant and you want to abort your child, you are doing something that is affecting another person, the infant within you.
Okay, so she's literally right now comparing bodily autonomy, a woman's body, what she's doing with her own body. She's comparing that to not the act of murder or stealing. Well, she does do that in a minute, but right now, she's not comparing the abortion to those crimes. She's comparing the idea of bodily autonomy to committing those crimes. So in other words, to say that being pro-life is telling a woman, controlling what she can do with her body, she's saying that's the same thing as telling a person that he can't steal, is that telling that person what he can't do with his own body. That is the most horrible, illogically flawed straw man defense of being pro-life that I've ever heard.
At the end of the day, it doesn't hurt you in any way. Again, this is the kind of argument that we can talk about with a lot of different things. It doesn't hurt me directly when somebody steals from a store down the block. It doesn't hurt me directly when somebody gets murdered 3 states away. But that doesn't mean that you should be able to do it. You've probably been in the presence of several women who have had abortions, and you literally didn't notice. That's how little it affects everyone else. This argument doesn't make a lot of sense to me because theoretically, you could walk past a murderer down the street, a thief, a drug dealer, and not know that they commit these crimes. So does that mean that they didn't commit them? That it doesn't affect everyone else? No, it just means that I don't know that they did that. Now, as I talked about in my pro-life video, I don't look at women who have had abortions as criminals. I don't think that they did something knowing. I think that there was a narrative sold to them that they should be having an abortion, that they should be taking control of their own life, and people who get abortions often make that decision with a misunderstanding of that morality. And so that's why I say, of course, after you've had an abortion, if you have learned that that was a mistake, you are welcome to join the pro-life movement. We are here with open arms.
So I just want to say, you don't get to openly compare someone who has an abortion with murderers and thieves and drug dealers and robbers. You can't compare that and then in the next breath say, I'm not saying that women that have an abortion are criminals like that. You literally can't do that. You can't have it both ways. You are criminalizing abortion. You are putting the woman's choice of her own bodily autonomy, you are putting that on the same level as murder of a human life. We can get into the debate about whether or not that's true, whether or not those two are the same things or not, but that is your contention. That is your point that you're making. You can't take that and then in the next sentence say, but I don't judge them like that, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to absolve yourself of being a judgmental, horrible person, vilifying women who are going through a horrible traumatic ordeal, one way or the other, whatever their choice ends up being. And you want to absolve yourself of the responsibility of your words. You have to own that. If you're going to say that that's what that is, if you're going to call that fetus, if you're going to compare that situation with murder, you can't put a but. You can't asterisk your way out of that. You are calling them murderers. That's the judgment that you're making. So own it. Just be honest about it. At the end of the day, classically Abby doesn't really concern me too much. I think that she represents a shrinking demographic, and I don't think that. I mean, she probably really does believe most of the things she says. I mean, if she grew up in the same household that Ben Shapiro grew up in, it would stand to reason that they would have similar political beliefs. But I also don't think that I think she plays it up quite a bit for show. I think that she's intentionally saying things to try to get clicks, to try to get just a reaction out of people. And the fact that she's spending so much money targeting these videos to people like me, and clearly if you look at the comments and the thumbs up and thumbs down on these really big sponsored videos, she's clearly not targeting the advertising. So she doesn't really seem to care who gets the message. I think she's really just trying to get a rise out of people. I normally would just be like, yeah, just ignore people like that. But I just think that it's good when people call them out. I know that there's other big YouTube names that have also done videos about her, and I think that's great. I think that we just need to try to drown that stuff out. It's just old. It's old and tired, boring, destructive narrative that I think that is dying out in this country, fortunately, but it's going to take a little while. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you liked this. I know that the Contrarian Dude video got a bigger response than I thought I was going to get. So figured I'd try this out again and see what people thought. Maybe I'll try to make this more of a quasi-regular thing. Anyway, I'll check in with you all again very soon. I hope everyone's having a great day. And remember, don't be afraid to question the consensus.